Hello, welcome to the Future Game Show. Woo! I am joined today by Anjali Bhimani, who you might know from Critical Role or Apex Legends or Overwatch or Miss Marvel.
Wow, and I'm here today with Alex Jordan, who you may know from Natural 6, The Alters, Dragon Age the Veilguard, or Cyberpunk.
And today, we're going to interview each other and then race down here.
Yes, in these shoes, right here. That's what's about to happen. So, yeah. Which of your roles was most challenging and why?
I would actually say there is one that I'm working on at the moment. This is a moment for the internet to remember this moment, because when it gets announced, you'll go, that's what he was talking about. As I'm doing the work, I have constantly got in the back of my mind, every single sound that I'm making right now is going to be scrutinized by millions of people. And that's all I will say because of NDAs. I had an audition recently while I was on holiday. I was in the south of France. I don't know what it is in Fahrenheit, 36 degrees Celsius, and it was to tape for 8 characters. So I was in there for a good couple of hours.
Yeah.
Overtime, literally overtime. I went in with swim shorts, a shirt on, and then the shirt came off.
How did you not take a picture for the internet? What are you doing?
And then I'm not gonna lie, I was like, I'm desperate. I took my swim shorts off.
I mean,
and I taped this audition.
the things that we will do.
Fully nude, just okay.
Did you book the job?
I booked the job.
See what I'm saying?
I booked the job.
I have recorded entire video games in pillow forts in hotel rooms. What is the weirdest line of dialogue you ever had to record?
It was the sex noises for Baldur's Gate 3. I had to stand in a booth while 4 or 5 people on the other side of the glass watched me as I kissed the back of my hand, and I moaned and I sighed.
Did we just reveal that you are the sex sounds of Astarion?
Oh, the internet knows. The internet very, very much enjoys this. It becomes a thing where anytime I'm in a game and it's revealed that I'm in a game, there's plenty of people commenting underneath saying, isn't that the sex noise guy from Baldur's Gate 3?
Oh my God,
and
Alex.
This is my legacy. This is my legacy now.
Delicious.
What is the most amount of takes in a row you've ever had to do?
Like a radio ad for Trainline, I think it was. Anyway, I say this line about, get your train to this place and that. They wanted running underneath it, just literally me just going, right? So I did that, and then they were going, can we get more smile in with that? So then you're going, we got the line done. We then genuinely spent about half an hour just going, and I was going, guys, we've definitely, but they felt like they had to, someone felt like they had to prove that there was a reason they were in the room.
Wow, that's rough.
That was genuine hell. Okay, I like this one.
Okay.
What video game or TV show defined your childhood?
I mean, Star Trek, period, as far as a TV show, defined so much of my mindset, because it was a universe worth fighting for. It was a very positive depiction of even really difficult social-political things that were going on. And also we got to watch that as a family because my mom was really into science fiction. So that and The Next Generation. He-Man is a close second. I'm not gonna lie, that animated series was very much a part of my, I'm coming home from school, I'm getting a mud pie out of the refrigerator, I'm going upstairs, and now I'm going to watch He-Man. This is my life.
Star Wars for me. I spent so much time with Knights of the Old Republic. Mission Bear and Canderous Ordo and Carthanasi and all these characters, absolutely loved. But I just threw myself into every Star Wars game.
Yeah.
I would say it's got to be that. But there was one Star Wars game that I think must have been about 1998. Basically, the head of the character was so large and the body was quite small.
Okay.
Was about a 50-50, those proportions, head and body. And then you basically, when you kind of it used to be flat map, you kind of move the character around and you go shooting this way and then walking up and shooting, and then you kind of could kind of shoot in 4 directions.
Okay.
And that was basically it as you moved around. Someone needs to help me find that game, because I am so desperate to just at least see it again and go, oh my God, there it is.
Yep. Games-wise, all the Forgotten Realms PC games were a huge part of my childhood, because I played the original Baldur's Gate without knowing that Jennifer Hale was in it, and now she's one of my best friends, which is weird and awesome.
Very wise and intelligent and brilliant and big-hearted human.
And you're a very kind human.
Oh, well, thanks.
Which character that you've played has a voice most different from your own?
I think I might have to go for the hot dog guy.
What about you?
I think probably I would have to go with Medusa from Stray Gods.
Because she sounds like this when she's talking like Medusa.
But then she sings like full, legit music theater. Looking into...
But her character voice when she's talking is very delicious and monstrous, and I love her so much.
Okay, me next.
Bob
What is
Kareem.
your go-to gaming or D&D snack?
Brennan Lee Mulligan introduced me to an espresso dark chocolate truffle candy bar by some company like Yves Isel or something, and I can only find it online, and I have since never stopped. Like, there's at least one of those candy bars in the house at all times. Problem is, if you keep eating it during the game, you will be as big as all of your characters combined into one human being.
Mine would be, do you know what? At Natural 6, Harry, our DM, has this ritual of bringing in chocolate Easter eggs. So we have, for anyone who isn't familiar with the UK's chocolate Easter eggs, at Easter,
They're that big?
They're about this big and they're hollow. And he has this theory that Easter eggs, for some reason, just taste better, even though they're the same chocolate. He brings in an Easter egg, and then he does this ritual of putting the Easter egg down, and you have to like crack the Easter egg to break it. But he goes, "Shall I be mother?"
Oh.
I'm like, I don't know why it's "Shall I be mother?"
My turn. Let's see what this one says. If you could play a TTRPG in any video game universe, which would it be and why?
I've just had the experience of making a TTRPG rooted in the altars. So I basically said to them, I was like, hey, I'd love to do a Natural 6 one-shot where
Everybody
around
plays-
the table plays like alternates of Jan Dolski, and I'm Jan Dolski as the GM. Everyone playing the same person at the table. That was really, really cool.
That is very, very cool.
So I would say that, but that feels like a bit of a cheat code, so I'm gonna say Assassin's Creed. I think it'd be so, so cool to do a one-shot where you are all assassins trying to take down a Templar target.
Okay.
I think that would be really, really cool.
I'm a huge Star Trek person, so anything in the Star Trek universe I'm always there for. But specifically for a TTRPG campaign, I think I would like to try something in the world of The Expanse. I loved just the world that they had created so much, and so the socio-political aspects of it, along with tension and conflict that is between characters and between NPCs, and then the world conflict of dealing with the anomaly and who's going to get there first and all of that. So I think that's where I would lean.
Do you know what?
Oh, that actually went farther than I thought it would. What was your first role in video games?
Oh, I like this one. My first role was a character called Asher Forrester in Telltale Game of Thrones. He is one of my favorite characters, and I never got to finish his story because we were supposed to do another game, and then Telltale Games went under, and I think he will always be one of my favorites because I never got to finish his story. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
because it always feels
absolutely.
like open-ended, but it feels like there's unfinished business there.
That makes sense. My first video game character was Symmetra in Overwatch. Okay, back to the real ones. Is it my turn?
Throw it! Throw it!
Yeah. I don't like you.
What's the best piece of direction that you've received? One of the best bits of direction actually I've ever had comes from one of the worst bits of direction. One of my teachers, a wonderful man named David Zub, you'd like do a scene and then he'd sit there and go, okay, go back out, come back in, doing better. And that is the worst direction, but it's that vibe thing, right? It's that vibe thing, and every time I go,
Okay.
I actually know what you mean. I know what you mean. And go out, come back in, and you go, yes.
The best piece of life direction that I was getting from Mary Poole at Northwestern University was my senior year, and I went into her office in a panic, and I was like, oh my God, I get it now. I get how I was supposed to be learning all this time, and I wasn't doing it right, and da 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 da. And she just very calmly said, that's why it's time to leave. As soon as you know what you're doing, it's time to move on to something you don't know what you're
That's
doing.
good. I like
And
that.
ever since then, I'm like, my entire life has been a series of like, I didn't know I can do that. Let's find out what else we can scary do.
I like that.
Yeah. All right.
Which character that you previously played do you hold dearest?
Symmetra is very dear to me. Not so much because of the success of Overwatch, but because as a little girl, I had Wonder Woman. That was the only female superhero I had that was remotely like me. And I was like, okay, cool. Well, she's a female. She's brunette. That's what I got. And I got to obsess over Wonder Woman. First time I saw the character art, I remember Andrea Toyas and I over Blizzard, both of us started crying, thinking about the kids or just people of any age who have never seen themselves represented in that particular way. And it wasn't just Indian women or Indian people, it was people on the spectrum. That multi-layered representation that made a character not just one thing, but the sum of all of the things that they've experienced, that I will always hold her very, very dear to my heart because of that, and because of that connection, and because of that effect that it's had on a lot of people.
I think it's probably going to have to be Jan Dolski from The Alters, because you pour yourself into this character, but I play 11 different alternate timeline versions of this same man, who all have lived different lives and have different worldviews. And so I had to find what part of me am I putting into this character 11 times. So the game kind of became a therapy,
Like a bit of a therapy.
and I spent, over 400 hours for the past couple of years. It's always been there and I've always been working on it.
What is your favorite acting performance of all time?
You go first.
Gary Oldman in Leon the Professional. But he does so many little things in that film. The everyone moment where he turns around and screams everyone.
Yeah.
The moment where he walks in and he pops his pills and he does his.
Bring me everyone.
What do you mean, everyone?
What is your comfort movie, TV show, or video game?
Okay, Pirates of the Caribbean, The Curse of the Black Pearl,
Oh.
Which I will say is a perfect film. It's also how I got started in voice acting.
Oh.
Because I basically started uploading impressions to YouTube when I was like 16 years old in 2006. My very first one was Captain Jack. So I was doing the whole, savvy. And then I was found by a voice agent when I was 18, 2008, and I was signed.
In recent years, Ted Lasso was a huge comfort in so many ways. Put on a positive face while he had just, experienced a global pandemic and so many things that were going on in the
Pandemic
world.
was a global grief. It was a global grief. Do you know what I mean? So
Yes, exactly.
Whatever's about to happen, that's a great start. I love you, Ted. I love you too, Willis.
Was there a specific moment or thing that made you want to become an actor?
I saw a production of the musical Kismet at Cal State Fullerton when I was a little girl, and it was so beautiful and it was so grand, and I loved singing and I loved musicals, and I was like, wait a minute, people do this as like a job? And that was my thing.
Teach me how to do the voice for one of your most iconic characters.
Oh,
Let's do Medusa. You can totally do Medusa. So you have to sort of start. Exactly. Sort of give yourself sort of an Eartha Kitt sound to begin with, and then kind of give yourself a little bit of gremlininess in it.
I like this.
Oh,
very nice. She's scary and sexy all at the same time.
Okay.
Little girl, no more Hail Marys.
Mr. Hands is
Mr.
a very
Hands.
smooth flowing. Everything he says
Everything
kind
he
of flows
says.
from one to the next.
Hansen guards his hotel secrets as if they were an embarrassing rectal itch.
Very cool, very
Why?
collected.
I sound like the guy from South Park. If you do pizza when you're supposed to do French fries, you're gonna have a bad time.
You French fry when you pizza, you're gonna have a bad time.
Go, keep reading. We're gonna get in trouble. They're gonna kick us out. They're gonna roll us down that incredibly long.
Share
Share.
your go-to vocal warm-up technique.
Oh. Okay, all right. This one's actually valuable for doing efforts and stuff. You can either do it with a straw, like any kind of coffee stirrer.
This is
or
the
anything
one
like
that I was going to say.
You know what we're gonna do? We're gonna do this while we're walking, while we're cleaning up. That's what's gonna happen.
I'm going
And
to pick
hopefully
up my
we can use
paper.
this.
I'm going to pick up my paper.
All right. Okay, so we're gonna pick up our paper while we're doing this, but this is my go-to vocal warm-up. You can either do this with a coffee stirrer or a straw.
why can I not pick up this
You
one?
can do it with a straw in water, or you can do it with your own
It's so
hands
good.
by
It's
blowing in
honestly
between
so
your
good.
fingers, or you can just use
It
the
works a dream. It's
or-
such a treat. It really,
and
really
literally
works.
just do any kind of sounds on that kind of little bit of vibration or into a straw.
It's
it helps
practically
reset your
magic.
vocal folds. When you've been screaming and your vocal folds are doing this, it helps reset your vocal folds to do this thing. I have been able to do 4 straight hours of efforts, and I am normally not that guy.
Yep.
Because that technique will help me
It's so good.
reset my vocal folds. This guy can tell you that that is true.
It works a dream. It's a treat. And it saved me on many occasions.
You guys, we're literally getting ourselves kicked out
We're
of the
going-
Intercontinental Hotel right now.
We're going.
That's how cool we are. We are party people, but we love you. That's how much we love you. Is that they're dragging us? They're dragging me off screen. Oh no, you guys! Oh God!